130 ships, 30,000 men, the most powerful fleet the world had ever seen, and one single ship just ended all of it in under 4 hours. 1588, Spain was the most powerful empire on the planet. Their king had one mission: invade England, crush them completely. And to do that, he built the most terrifying naval force in human history. They called it the Invincible Armada. 130 warships, 2,400 cannons, 30,000 soldiers and sailors. Nobody in Europe could challenge this fleet. Nobody even tried. But today, we're dropping a single modern Arleigh Burke class destroyer right into 1588. Same ocean, same armada, same weather, but one very, very different ship. Could just one destroyer stop all of it? Let's actually find out. Before we get to the battle, you need to understand something. The Spanish Armada wasn't just powerful. It was terrifying in a way that's hard to explain today. In 1588, Spain controlled half the world. South America, parts of Africa, the Philippines. Their ships carried gold, silver, spices from every corner of the globe. And King Philip II, he was done with England. England had been raiding Spanish ships for years. Their Queen Elizabeth was supporting Spain's enemies. Philip had enough, so he spent years and an absolute fortune building this fleet. Each galleon was massive. Some were over 1,000 tons, wooden walls 2 feet thick, cannons on every deck, and the plan was simple: sail up the English Channel, pick up 17,000 additional soldiers from the Netherlands, then land on English shores and take the whole country. England knew it was coming, and honestly, they were scared. Their own fleet was smaller, their ships were lighter. Queen Elizabeth herself came out to speak to her troops, because everyone thought this might be the end of England. Now here's the thing nobody talks about. The Armada had one massive weakness built right into their strategy, and our destroyer is about to find it immediately. Meet the USS Arleigh Burke, 510 feet long, built from steel so strong it can take direct hits and keep fighting. Crew of just 280 people. Now let's compare that to what they're facing. The Armada's 130 ships carried 30,000 men combined. Our destroyer has 280. You'd think that's a weakness. It's actually completely irrelevant, because here's what those 280 people control: 96 vertical launch missile cells. Each Tomahawk missile travels at 550 miles per hour. It can hit a target from 1,000 miles away with pinpoint accuracy. The fastest Spanish cannonball traveled maybe 1,000 feet per second at best, and it was accurate for maybe 200 yards. That's it. Now the destroyer also carries the Phalanx close-in weapon system. It fires 4,500 rounds per minute automatically. Just let that number sink in. The entire Spanish Armada combined, all 2,400 cannons, couldn't match that rate of fire. Not even close. But honestly, missiles and guns aren't even the most unfair advantage here. The real weapon? Radar. The destroyer can detect every single Spanish ship from 200 miles away, in fog, in darkness, in any weather. The Armada is sailing blind. Our destroyer knows exactly where every single one of their 130 ships is. July 1588, English Channel. The Armada is sailing in their famous crescent formation. It's actually brilliant tactics for their time. Ships arranged in a massive curved line, protecting each other, impossible to break from the front. Spanish lookouts are scanning the horizon, and then something appears. No sails, no oars, just a gray steel shape cutting through the water at 30 knots. For reference, the fastest Spanish galleon topped out at maybe 8 knots, with perfect wind. Our destroyer is already moving at nearly 4 times their top speed. The lookouts have no idea what they're seeing. Admiral Medina Sidonia, commander of the Armada, orders his fastest ships to intercept. 3 massive galleons break formation and head straight for it. They open fire, cannons blazing. The cannonballs hit the water, 800 yards short. They reload, fire again, still short. They push closer. The destroyer hasn't moved, hasn't responded. The radar operator is watching all 130 ships on screen, calmly marking targets. The captain looks at his options. He could end this in 10 minutes with missiles, but let's say he wants to be careful, minimize damage, limit the engagement. He picks up the radio, orders a warning shot. The 5-inch deck gun fires once. The shell travels 2 miles and lands directly between the lead galleons. The explosion is unlike anything any of these sailors have ever seen in their lives. Absolute silence falls across 30,000 men, and then chaos, because what happened next, nobody in the Armada expected. The destroyer locks on. First missile, the Spanish flagship San Martin, gone in 4 seconds. Second missile, the supply ships at the rear of the formation. The Armada's food, ammunition, medical supplies, all of it destroyed. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Spanish crescent formation, their greatest tactical strength, becomes their biggest weakness because the ships are packed tightly together. 130 ships in a confined channel. One explosion triggers another. Fire spreads from ship to ship. 30,000 men are screaming, jumping into water, trying to row away, but the channel is only so wide, and our destroyer is fast faster than all of them combined. The phalanx system activates, 4,500 rounds per minute, sweeping across the water. The remaining galleons try to scatter. Some head north toward Scotland. Some try to turn back towards Spain. But here's the part that nobody talks about in these scenarios. The destroyer's helicopter launches. It can track fleeing ships for hundreds of miles. Nothing gets away. Within 90 minutes, the crescent formation that took Spain years to build is completely gone. But then something happens. Something that, honestly, even today, is hard not to respect. A small group of Spanish captains, maybe 8 or 9 ships, they don't run, they don't scatter. They turn directly toward the destroyer, full sail, every cannon loaded. These men know exactly what happened to the rest of the fleet. They watched it, and they're charging anyway. There's a word for that. It's not stupidity. It's something much harder to find. The destroyer crew watches on radar as these ships close the distance. The captain gives no order to fire. For a moment, silence on the bridge, because everyone understands what they're watching. Men from 1588 with wooden ships and iron cannonballs charging a steel warship they cannot possibly hurt. Not out of ignorance, out of pure, absolute courage. The cannonballs finally reach the hull. They bounce off like pebbles thrown at a wall. The destroyer doesn't even rock. And finally, gently, the 5-inch gun fires twice. Both ships are gone. The remaining 6 captains, seeing this, finally turn away. The battle is over. Time elapsed. 3 hours and 47 minutes. 130 ships. 1 destroyer. No casualties on our side. None. So, could one modern destroyer stop the Spanish Armada? It's not even a question. It wouldn't be a battle. It would be a complete elimination before the Armada even understood what was happening. The technology gap between 1588 and today is so enormous, so completely one-sided, that the Armada's size, their courage, their tactics, none of it matters even slightly. And that's the crazy part. The Arleigh Burke we use today, it's not even America's most powerful warship. There are ships with more missiles, more range, more firepower. The Armada never stood a chance. But here's what I keep thinking about. Those final 8 captains who charged anyway. 500 years of military technology against pure human bravery. History doesn't always remember the losers, but maybe it should.